My, you're tall. So next time you hear, this is Paul T. Morris doing the morning report, you're going to say, Paul T., sing us a song. You know, I would like to I ran into Kathy Schulte a few minutes ago, and she was telling me that the veteran that she brought today is 24. Would you stand up? I think we have our youngest veteran with us here. Thank you. Again, my honor to introduce our next speaker. Our second speaker is an Iraqi war veteran, Tim Ramos. While serving in Iraq during Desert Storm, Tim was critically wounded and mistakenly taken to an Iraqi hospice. While there, Tim was transfused by the enemy with unknown chemicals that severely damaged his neurological system. There, in the midst of dying and burned enemy combatants, Tim thought he would never return to the United States, but that he would simply die amongst the enemy. However, his girlfriend at the time, Christina, who later became his wife and is with us today. Christina, please stand up. Was also serving in Iraq. She's a veteran. And she never gave up on finding Tim. And it was through her determination and her relentless searching that Tim was located and rescued. However, like for many of our veterans, Tim's true battle began when he returned home. Began with numerous illnesses resulting from the transfusion that he was given by the enemy. He became wheelchair-bound and was told he would never, ever walk again. Tim and Christina have faced many dark days due to their service to our country, as have many of our veterans. Many of our veterans that have served in Iraq and Afghanistan suffer from autoimmune disease. Christina suffers from that, with lupus and chronic lung disease. Tim and Christina have put all of their faith in God, and they have committed their lives to serving Him and other veterans. Most recently, Tim has been the recipient of the wheelchair program through the Independence Fund, as we all know from Bill O'Reilly. And he's very active in many causes to combat suicide of veterans, and he'll speak to that. And he serves as an ambassador of the Independence Fund. And he also has his own project that he wants to help children here in Prescott with a gym, and we'll find out about that later next year. We were just so honored to have this man with us. It has just been such a joy for me this year to meet him, to get to know him, and have him come to a couple of different organizations where he could speak. On the table, you will see a red envelope, and it says the Independence Fund. Tim's going to speak about the Independence Fund, what it's done for him, and then we're going to pass that envelope after Tim speaks and ask if you would like to contribute. Ladies and gentlemen, just such an honor to introduce Tim Ramos.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, and thank you to all the veterans that are here. I appreciate your service, your dedication, and as Paul said, I know we all believe in the stripes and believe in the stars, and that's why we do what we do. Talking about the Independence Fund and who they are and what they've done. Not only for me, but tons of veterans out there who suffer from PTSD. They suffer from many diseases brought on by the Gulf War, the Iraqi War, Vietnam, World War I, World War II, Korean War. It's an organization where not one person gets a paycheck. Everybody from the president down is strictly volunteering. They're the only organization that's helped veterans with medical necessities. They treat us with hyperbaric chambers, oxygen chambers, with ARP, wave therapy, and with neuro retraining. And I'm happy to say, since I've been home from that, I have not had one nightmare, and I sleep through the night. And I know the other veterans that I was there with do too. But I have to tell you that it's been a long road to get to this. A lot of you know the suicide rate of our returning veterans, and not just from this war, but from all the wars. As a matter of fact, a lot of you probably don't know that most suicides of veterans are committed over the age 50. And there's a few reasons for this. One, this war has brought back memories of previous wars. A lot of veterans now are sick. A lot of them are in pain. And a lot of them just are not getting the help they need. There's a lot of organizations out there that will take veterans and teach them how to ski, or teach them how to fish. And I love those organizations. Wounded Warrior, Operation Freedom, there's a number of them. But none help them combat suicide, which is our biggest problem right now that we're having. These gentlemen that I was over there with, some of them had brain injuries from attempted suicides. All of them were suffering from suicide ideation. And I think every one of them has had a gun in their mouth at one time or another. And no matter what has prevented them from pulling that trigger, they are brought in and treated and made whole in that area. And it's due to this organization that does that. They pay not only for their flights there, they put them up in a fully furnished apartment. They pay for all their food. They take them out to do other things besides their 4 treatments twice a day. But they bring them in as family. And they're a family that just doesn't tell you that it's great having you here, we love you, we'll keep in touch. These family members contact me daily, weekly, asking how I am, missing me, asking me when I'm coming back for more treatments, and keeping me abreast with everything going on with them. Independence Fund is changing lives, and I praise God for that. You know, they've had some advertising through Bill O'Reilly and now David Letterman, and that's what's really put them on the map. They put them on the map with people donating money to get wheelchairs for them, track chairs, you've seen them, they look like tanks. They got me a paragolfer so I can golf. It's an unbelievable chair. But the most important thing is they gave me a new lease on life. Our suicide rate right now among veterans is so bad. that if you look around this room right now, the numbers in this room, if every one of them were veterans that committed suicide, this would be the number in 12 days of how many of them committed suicide. About over 600 people every 12 days now. You'll see the studies that say 22 a day. Those studies were done from 2009 to 2010. Not 2011, 12, 13, 14. It has grown so much. It's become an epidemic. For our Vietnam veterans, you can't go to a city where you don't see these veterans homeless in the street corners. You don't see them not facing alcohol and drug issues, of course. And you can't go to a place where everybody that walks by them doesn't judge them for what they see. But it's what you don't see that's the problem. It's what has brought them there is what the problem is. This illness takes you slowly at first, but daily, with nightmares and with not being able to sleep. And if you can imagine your worst nightmare, think of having that nightmare over and over and over every single night of every single week for years and not sleeping. And imagine what that does to your mind and body. Of course, in the older wars, Vietnam and on, they didn't even know what PTSD was. It's not that our Korean war veterans, who were in the bloodiest and coldest battle of all of them, and our World War II and our World War I, veterans don't suffer from it. They were never diagnosed with it. They've all come home to it. War, when you see the person next to you dying, and you're having to take people's lives, changes you. And up until now, there has been nothing done about it except the issuing of medication and drugs. Nothing else has been done to combat this. And it's what you don't see that really eats me up inside. It's not only the veterans, it's the veteran spouses, it's the veteran kids that are committing suicide in numbers that are incomparable, that aren't registered, they aren't talked about. But these are families and spouses that during a career move 6, 7, 8, 9 times every 2 years. If you look at a wife's resume who has a husband, or a husband's resume who has a wife suffering or serving, I'd say, you probably see no less than 12 to 30 jobs listed. They've given up their lives. They've moved. The kids have had to lose friendships that they've made in school. They've had so much pressure. Their parents that are serving not being home for their birthdays, their Christmases, They don't know if they're coming home a lot of times. All they're left to do is wonder. They have eyes and ears. They see around them. They can see the death tolls rising. They know where their parents are. And I have to tell you, that leaves me with a horrible pit in my stomach. But this organization not only treats our veterans, they will bring your whole family out there. They treat at a place called the Gracie's Hope Hyperbarics. And Gracie's Hope Hyperbarics is amazing in themselves. These chambers alone are about $200 for a medical chamber per treatment. And Gracie's Hope offers 4 types of treatments there and charges the Independence Fund a little over $60. That is amazing in itself. But not only do they do that, they don't charge any extra to have the veteran's wife or kids go in the chamber with you. They'll treat the whole family. And that's amazing to me, because they haven't forgot the sacrifices that not only the veterans make, but their families make. It's our job, because no one else will see to it but other veterans and veterans' family members who know the perils of war, who know the perils of serving and moving, relocating, finding new jobs, new schools. Only us know what's really going on. And it's our job to help them. Because, unfortunately, our government, this is a beautiful land to live in, but our government falls short when it comes to treating our veterans for these diseases. I have to tell you that we're fighting right now to have the VA take a look in the hyperbarics, take a look into the treatment of these veterans and see if they'll take it on. But why is it taking so long to get done? Why, if we aren't having veterans coming back from these treatments healthy, are they not having veterans do this? They've been told over and over what it's done. And like everything, it takes forever to get done, like our benefits. And I thank all you veterans here, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have my benefits, my wife wouldn't have hers. But we've fought for a long time to get. But how many have died before they've gotten those benefits? How many have had to wait? Our Vietnam veterans have passed away and dwindled. There are very few World War II, World War I, Korean War veterans. They're dropping off. How many have to die before we change what we do for our exiting veterans out of the military? They give you a DD-214 and send you on your way. But anyway, I thank you guys for listening, and I thank you in advance for helping our veterans get through this time. And the Independence Fund is one of many funds that they're out there. They are 501. They'll give you write-ups like any other. But take into consideration what you're giving when you're giving to this organization. You're giving freedom back to these veterans. I thank you once again for having me here. God bless you guys.